Welcome back, everyone. We are taking you to Banaras. This is where Prime Minister Narendra Modi's final push for the BJP in election 2022 is underway. This massive roadshow. In attendance, 3 lakh people from Banaras participating in this roadshow. It was delayed a bit. Pranchu Mishra, you're joining us on the phone line. It was delayed a bit. On track now. What we'll see in the next few minutes, I don't know actually, we don't know if it's the next few minutes or not, but take a look at these sort of arrangements that have been put in place. A beautiful Tiranga there formed as Prime Minister Modi passes below it. And that's quite a lot of logistics that have been planned. 3 lakh people, 3-kilometer long road show. Prime Minister Modi there. It's a fairly hot day there in Banaras. The Prime Minister started at 4 o'clock. I think by 6:30, this entire roadshow will be over, possibly 7, and then Prime Minister Modi is staying overnight in his constituency. Those are top angle shots you are getting of people accompanying this roadshow. I think, spot some ministers walking along as well. I think it was JP Nadda. We'll just cross-check on that. Pranchu Mishra, as we see these pictures coming to us of the Prime Minister's roadshow, tell me, what is the point that the BJP is trying to drive home? Is this meant, is this show limited for the folks of Banaras who are welcoming their MP, also the Prime Minister of this country, or is there a larger messaging at play?
Well, Shreya, there's both the two aspects. One, that Prime Minister, of course, being the Member of Parliament from Varanasi, has a very local connect, very strong personal connect with Varanasi and this region. The second aspect to it is, that this final phase, the 7th phase, where 54 constituencies across 9 districts go to poll, this is also a very challenging phase. And in 2019 general elections, before that in 2017 assembly elections, every time this particular area of Eastern Uttar Pradesh has gone to poll in last leg. And in both the two previous counts we have seen in 19 and 17 before that how Modi's roadshow has come in as a big last mile strong, push for the BJP's campaign. And it has, of course, delivered also for BJP. In 2017, out of all the 7 assembly constituencies in Varanasi, 6 were backed by the BJP and 1 by Salai Akmadal. There was also this impact that was seen in neighboring constituencies like Jaunpur and, Chandoli also, and also in Mirzapur. In 2019, again, we saw this impact taking place, but, it was also blunted to a certain extent by the SP-BSP alliance, that is backward caste alliance, especially in the Azamgarh and Mau division. So the point this time is that can Prime Minister Modi's last strong push in this final phase, can it also ensure an impact in the regions which are vulnerable to BJP, which didn't go the BJP's way in that way, as had the Varanasi region in, say, in 2017 or 2019 elections? I am talking about the Azamgarh and Mau region.
Correct.
Can Modi's impact can take place in Azamgarh and Mau? That needs to be seen. But as of now, what we can say is that yes, Prime Minister Modi's roadshow, BJP will clearly hope that it creates that positive perception all across 54 districts, and so that the expansion that was halted to just 29 seats in 2017, that is further, enhanced in this phase. And Samajwadi Party will hope that this Muslim Yadav combine, which is so strong in Mau and Azamgarh, that continues to work for it. Also, the Rajbhar factor continues to work for it. The Apna breakaway faction, that factors work for it. And therefore, just the 11 number seats they got in 2017, that figure escalates to a larger number this time around. So I think it's a very interesting contest where not just brand Modi is being put to test, but also the allies of both sides, both the BJP allies and the Samajwadi Party allies, their competency, their strength is also going to be put to test in this particular phase.
And Pranchu, before I let you go, can I quickly ask you this? Today is a day of road shows, as it were, in Banaras. You have the Prime Minister's road show currently underway, after which I believe Akhilesh Yadav, leader of the Samajwadi Party, is holding a road show as well. And ahead of this road show, Priyanka Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi were in Banaras.
Yes, that's right. So, and if you recall, yesterday, Mamata Banerjee, the West Bengal Chief Minister, was also in Varanasi. So, Priyanka and Rahul Gandhi have held a road show. Priyanka Gandhi has been staying at Kabir Chaura Math for past 2 days. Akhilesh Yadav is also there. He will be doing a road show. So, the point is that this election has become an increasingly bipolar contest between the Samajwadi Party and the BJP. When you talk to anyone, no one can say with surety that who is actually going to win this poll. And that's the reason why Akhilesh Yadav also wants to send in a strong message of his strength in this final phase. That's the reason why he has been focusing in Varanasi. That's the reason why he brings in Mamata Banerjee to Varanasi and tries to send out a message that this time around he is going to turn the tide. Can he do so? We'll have to see. Same factor with the BJP. BJP knows that it has been in a tough contest this time around, and therefore, of course, it is banking on Mr. Modi's, brand. All through these elections, we have seen that how engaged Mr. Modi has been all through these 6 phases. But when it comes to 7th phase, it is his own, constituency, Varanasi, that goes to poll. And therefore, the result will also be a personal statement for Mr. Modi, and that's the reason why BJP hopes that Mr. Modi's appeal, his brand Modi, becomes the driving phenomena in this final phase of 54 seats, where both Samajwadi Party and BJP, I'm very sure, are going to get into a very tough contest on this in this final phase.
This essentially is the BJP deploying its heaviest artillery, as it was, Sandeep Ghosh. When you speak to BJP karyakartas or when you speak to BJP leaders on the ground, and you point out to the fact, just taking from what Pranshu is saying, to the fact that this time possibly the Samajwadi Party will do well. They say हर बार wave नहीं आ सकती, हर बार complete, you cannot sweep every election. What do you make of that? What do you make of that comment? And what does it say to you?
Yeah, I think, people have been saying this is not really a wave election in that sense. And it is really speaking, as you said, it's become a bipolar election for sure, with consolidation of votes going towards Samajwadi Party and the third party, BSP not being that active. Congress, by their own admission, is a small, low-key player. So it's not really a wave. But and certainly we are not in any circumstances. One is not ruling out a Samajwadi Party. They'll definitely do well. But the key thing to see, Shreya, which I am slightly personally intrigued by observing from a distance, is by now, really speaking, the election should have been done and dusted. 6 phases are over. And if there is anxiety or there is hope or whatever you want to call it, even in the 7th phase, when the last crop of seats, then it's really, really a close election. And, as they say in Hindi, kaante ki takkar, we really wouldn't know till the 10th exactly which way it's gone. And it does seem to me that nobody is taking it for granted.
True.
And so it's not that the Prime Minister is doing these shows just to finally seal the victory or, almost like a victory lap. There is still something open in the game.
Ambikaji, this is not a wave election by the looks of it. We don't know. We never know what happens on the 10th. But by the looks of it, it is not a wave election. By the looks of it, there is no overarching mudda. And by the looks of it, every UP election usually turns into a Hindu-Muslim election. That hasn't happened this time either. So what are people voting on?
Right. Your assessment is absolutely on the dot. There is no wind, there is no wave. But what happens in the absence of a wave? Normally, in the cowbell, that is UP and Bihar, the caste factor comes to the fore. And I'll repeat, the chamatkarik parinam of 2017 was based on one factor. The very Kamandal was mandalized.
Correct.
And all kinds of OBC people had veered round the Bharatiya Janata Party. And hence they got 325 seats. Alone the BJP scored 312 seats. Well, that is not there any longer. And the ground reports that we are getting, BJP hasn't done all that well in the first 6 rounds. Now is the time to pull up the shocks and lead the 7th phase under Prime Minister Modi's leadership. What we have seen at the ground level, the anger is certainly not directed against Prime Minister Modi. People still love him. This is called the Modi factor.
Correct.
But till the 6th phase, it was Yogi versus Akhilesh this time. And a fact that I could see, you could see everywhere, I don't believe that the powers that be within the BJP don't know this.
Okay.
They know this very well, and that is why it's time the Prime Minister comes up front and leads the show.
Well, he
Yes,
is
Shreya.
leading. He is leading from the front as far as the battle for Purvanchal is concerned.